Okay, so here's a really great result of, I got a guy behind me. Yeah. I'm going to turn around. I'm not going to try to go through this part right here. Here's a result of just horrible pollution in Dallas. It's just, no one of the people here, I don't want to talk about the water and the smell, the pungent smell that they give off. I would not drink the water in Dallas. I would have bottled water only. But this is a result of the trees getting poor nutrition. And it goes on and on. Look at that huge tree. All the rot comes from the base of those trees. I would definitely buy bottled water if you live in Dallas, because I bet the toxic level, if it needs to be tested in Dallas, is probably like 3 times the level over what it needs to be. I tried to sell water filters from Denton one time to some people in Dallas, but they're like, no, we like drinking out of the tap water. We're fine with it. I'm telling you, man, the water that they're giving these trees is not clean at all. And if you have a filter, get like the best filter that NASA can buy if you're going to drink from the tap water here, and only drink bottled water, because these trees are being poisoned daily with the water that they're feeding here. Because you're talking about runoff from Love Field, and the amount of like private jets and regular airplanes coming out of Southwest, they're using like cheaper ass jet fuel and all this shit. I can't even get out of here. I'm basically almost kind of like trapped. But they're basically using like Southwest probably uses the worst, the cheapest chemical burn for their jets, and they're just polluting the crap. They need to redo everything with Love Field and recheck everything, and it's just a lot of runoff, and these places are too close to the airport, and a lot of traffic goes through Love Field. But those planes are just, I mean, it's a lot of toxic stuff in the air, and it's going into the water, and they're just drinking it and feeding it to the trees. And this stuff is just amazing. I mean, if you study environmental science, this is a great area. Look at this rot right here. This is a great area for proof. And then you can't even get down that road right there without going around the trees right here. This is a great area of proof that air pollution does affect vegetation 100%. You have ocular proof of it right here on every one of the streets. A lot of people are like, nah, it's natural. That just happens. It's been going on for years. That's complete bullshit. I lived in Maine, and they would have blizzards, and the trees are perfectly fine there. Rarely do they ever crack in half. We do find rot, because I studied rot for about 17 months when I lived there in hardwood, with quality control people. But rot is... it can spread from disease, but it also can come from pollution of how the air is polluted and the trees taking their nourishment from polluted air. And this is a perfect example, if you're studying environmental science, of what polluted air does to vegetation when a little bit of wind comes through and just tears all this rot apart. This is 100% proof that we have environmental problems in our country. And I'm not really for the Democrats, but more so. I'm not really a Republican either, but I'm not really like pro-Democrat. Look at this rotten tree right here. I'm not really pro-Democrat or pro-Republican, but I will say this though, we have a pollution problem today. And it is in Dallas, as well as Los Angeles has it, and a lot of other cities have a pollution problem in the air. But Dallas is getting worse. Every 1 minute someone moves here. Oh, look at this right here. Look at all that rot right there. How it just goes completely up. That's an example of a tree rotting. And then a little bit of wind comes over and it just cracks right in half. Pollution, baby, pollution. We have an environmental problem. And it needs to be addressed. I mean, Al Gore is 110% right. Al Gore hit it right on the head. And this will get worse and worse and worse by far. And when I saw Al Gore's thing in Inconvenient Truth or whatever, my dad is all laughing about it and stuff, but I know my dad's dead wrong. he is dead wrong about there not being a pollution problem. He's dead wrong about most things. But he's like an example of an idiot Republican. But Al Gore really has hit it on the head. And this is a great example of pollution at its worst in this city. Because there wasn't even that strong of winds really, and it just cracked all these trees apart. That has to be from pollution. I don't think there's any other answer from it. And it just goes on and on. This goes on for miles and miles and miles. A lot of these roads, I'm basically taking off from work right now because it's just, all the stoplights aren't working. That's an electrical problem though, but look at this right here. Bam, more rot. Tree just boom, rotten. Complete rot. Look at these little tiny, even a pine tree. You can't even see it there. Even the pine trees are affected by it. And those pine trees outlast everything, or they're supposed to. This place definitely needs to be studied, and air quality has to be changed in Dallas. Because the trees ain't gonna make it.